Hi, good morning. I'm going to give a speech today about the importance of becoming debt-free. If you could do me a favor and just scan the room. I have 4 people here, and we'll begin. How many of you have debt? How many of you have bad debt? Yeah. What does debt mean to you? Well, according to dictionaries.com, debt is something that is owed or that one is bound to pay to or perform for another. It's a liability or an obligation to pay or render something. The condition of being under such an obligation, an offense requiring reparation, a sin, a trespass. How many of you have that? Yeah, sins or trespasses. Today is Monday. Stay with me, okay? Today is Monday. You won the lottery totaling $30,000 last Wednesday. It was deposited into your account on Saturday. What would you do with those $30,000 today? Well, I'll show you how and why becoming debt-free can be the centerpiece to a successful and enjoyable life. Now, the Federal Reserve reports that the U.S. has a revolving debt of $793 billion, a consumer debt of $2.43 trillion, and according to creditcards.com, the average American household has an average of $15,799 worth of credit card debt. That's per household. Yeah, it's a lot. But wait, there's more. According to HuffingtonPost.com and the Federal Reserve, the average student loan debt for people under 30 years old is $21,000. It's a lot of money. Most people don't make that in 2 years when they're going to college. These numbers are all from this year alone. Is there any wonder why our economy is suffering? Do you have any thoughts about how we've gotten into this situation? Do you find yourself worrying about your own debt? I know you don't. Here are 3 reasons for becoming debt-free: happiness, stability, and freedom. You will find happiness in knowing that your debts are paid. You will have the stability in your personal, social, and love life. And last but not least, you will have the freedom to choose where your money goes. I know what you're thinking. How do I become debt-free? I won't lie to you. It's going to be very difficult, take a lot of work, and sacrifice. Hard work at that. Now, I like to separate the different age groups by 3 different categories. I've done this myself. Beginner, intermediate, and advanced. The beginner class is your little brother, little sister, grandson, daughter, granddaughter, who's just graduating high school. Okay? It's a young person that's starting their financial life. These are the most impressionable and vulnerable people to financial problems. This group of people I consider beginners because they have 0 experience and are most likely to make the most mistakes. They're also at a point to make the most gain if they do things right. A beginner can stay debt-free all throughout college by working his or her way through school, staying at home with mom and dad when they're in college, and applying for scholarships instead of student loans. Now, I know too many beginners who owe more in student loans than they'll make in 2 years working a full-time job. There's a lot of people out there. It's just not worth it. It's not smart, and it will make becoming intermediate that much harder. Now, my intermediate group begins at college graduation until they're about 35 years old. Most of us are in the intermediate group. They are the ones who will do the most damage because they now believe they need everything they see. I'm guilty of it. Hey, I like that car. I want to go buy it. Well, they are the ones who will do the most damage because they, like I said, believe that they will, want everything. So they'll buy a car, a house, furniture to put in the house, food to eat, beer to drink, and clothes to wear out. They'll find a spouse, they'll go out looking for someone who's probably in the same situation they're in. And more than likely, when they add it all up, when they get together, they'll have debt. They won't have anything, an asset. So notice how I said this group will do the most damage. I say damage because this group is usually the ones whose financial problems are irreversible. They, or we, are the people who are most likely to file for bankruptcy, have a house foreclosed, a car repossessed, or collection agencies after them. All of which is avoidable by doing a few things. First, make a financial plan and find out how much debt you have. Second, pay off the smallest debt first. Okay? Then move to the next, and so on. So if you have a $1,000 debt and you have a $2,000 debt, pay the $1,000 debt first, and then tackle the $2,000 debt. if you owe on multiple accounts, pay the minimum payment on all accounts except for the one with the smallest amount. So if you have a $1,000 debt, a $2,000 debt, and a $3,000 debt, pay the other ones minimum payment. Focus all your assets and money towards the smallest debt. Once that's done, you'll move on and pay as much as you were paying on that $1,000 debt, the smallest debt. Take all that you were paying on that and add it towards the next debt. So it's almost like what they call, or economist Dave Ramsey calls at daveramsey.com, he calls this plan the snowball effect. I believe this is the best way to get rid of what I call bad debt. Now we all have debt. You're going to have a house, you're going to have a car, but I call bad debt student loans, credit cards, those things. And the debt that you have that has extremely high interest rates, you need to get rid of that. Okay, now my next group and last group, the advanced group. It's from about 35 years old and up, and they can vary 5 to 10 years, depending on the person. But they are most likely to suffer most from the debt. If a person's 50 years old and gets their debt under control, they are very likely to they don't get their debt under control, they're likely required to work well past retirement age. This can cause problems in their family, health, and marriage. Who knows someone who has worked past the retirement age because they had to, not because they wanted to? I'm sure we all do. It may be because of medical bills, credit cards, or even house payments. This group of people needs to begin paying off all their debt as soon as possible. This may require draining their savings. I would rather have a little bit of savings and no debt than a huge savings and a ton of debt that I'm going to have to work and pay for every day. Or it may even require selling their house and downsizing to a smaller house. I know a lot of people that should probably do that but refuse to, and I don't know why. They just need to get that snowball rolling as fast as possible. Now, becoming debt-free is not impossible. With a little bit of knowledge, planning, and hard work, you can obtain financial freedoms. Imagine what our country would be like if it were debt-free. Well, we can help it get there just by taking care of our personal debt. Remember, $2.43 trillion of our country's debt belongs to us, we the people. So join me and let's do our part. Let's find out where we fit in. Are we beginners, learning the ropes, intermediate, making lifelong decisions, or advanced, trying to make retirement possible? Where do you fit in? What can you do to change your situation? And remember, that $30,000 I was telling you about that you won, now what would you do with it? Thank you for listening to my speech, and you guys have a great day.